Today I'm going to paint a pink peony in a very easy way using just simple brush strokes. Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch, watercolor artist, teacher and a book author. Welcome to my studio. I will use one of my favorite pinks from MaimeriBlue, Permanent Carmine. I will prepare very diluted mix, and with the tip of the brush I will start to make small S-looking brush strokes in a nice way, side one from each other, but all your brush strokes should be curvy, and soon you will notice that we are shaping a peony bud like this. And then I go a little bit on the side of the flower and I apply slightly more pressure on the brush. Tip of the brush, belly of the brush, tip of the brush, belly of the brush, like this. Still painting with very diluted mix. And I will step aside a little bit more. I'm thinking about that flower or that peony which already opened a bit, and I arrange my brush strokes around as brush strokes, starting from the tip of the brush, applying a little bit of pressure and try to bring everything to a flower center. Sometimes it helps if you set up small little dot that will help you to coordinate your moves. And don't afraid to leave white areas in between your brush strokes. Now, very typical for peonies that they have some petals already opened, looking aside. So I arrange a couple of brush strokes in this way, as strokes. A lot of white space in between. About this. Already looking a little bit recognizable, right? I hope so. Then you can connect some of the brush strokes, sliding your brush a little bit more flat to the paper. Now let's shape the central part. Usually it's very light, but we can add a bit more of texture, especially in the bottom. If you look at this part, at the central part as a ball, there should be some shadows in between, which will divide the top part of the flower from these already opened petals. And now it's nice and fluffy, but it's a little bit flat, right? Now I can switch to my smaller brush and grab the same color but a little bit bolder and go with the tip of the brush around and add my bolder mix into the areas, especially in the bottom area of this bulb, of this bud, because there will be a lot of shadows and we need to create a contrast between top part and the bottom part. Try to apply your brush strokes randomly and asymmetrical. If you notice that you already added a lot of brush strokes on one side, make a little bit less on the other side. So things should be different. Every time be a little bit different, a little bit different, a little bit different. Sometimes it's nice and fun to add just small little dots around, like this. I very much like to add bold brush strokes in those areas, those petals which are still wet, like this. Then it will create very beautiful bleed. let's add some zigzag moves to the petals, and a little bit more of bolder color to this divided line between the upper part of the flower and the bottom part of the flower. Now let's put it on a stem. I have a bit of cobalt green. I need to find the proper part where to start with the stem, therefore I need to find the center of the bud, and I imagine how the stem connects to the bud about here. We can't see it here, then it goes like this, and then we can see the stem. And let's add some greenery, very typical. Let's start with the middle vein. Just with the tip of the brush I make a line, and then I start with the tip of the brush, belly of the brush, and then tip of the brush, belly of the brush, and I create these leaves, this greenery for the peony. Basically just brush strokes a little bit more straight than we did for the bud itself. I added a little bit of viridian to make it more dusty green, a little bit of viridian, a little bit of burnt sienna. I can add a bit of green touch in between this area. It will bring nice. Don't forget that we have dark shadow, dark part right here underneath the petals, underneath this bud part. Therefore I can add a bit more darkness right here. Let's see some green touch on the other side, and maybe small little bud on the other side. Tip of the brush, belly of the brush, tip of the brush, belly of the brush. Now I will wash my brush, and with my pink mix I will set up small little ball, very early bud, which will bloom in a couple of days, not now. I don't pay so much attention to this bud because it's not the main hero, but what I can do as a final touch, I have a little bit of pink on my brush, and I will add just a touch of pink into the greenery part, into the leaves. This is very typical for peonies, especially dark red peonies. They have veins slightly tinted with pink, with the main color of the flower. And you can have a look around, maybe add a couple of brush strokes, and our peony is ready. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed the process. I'm looking forward to know what would you like to paint next. And see you soon. Bye bye.